Hey y'all, it's Anime Game, and today I'm going to be reviewing the 9th episode of Magical Girl Spec Asuka. And I gotta say, while this episode wasn't completely sensational, and it wasn't the epic that I was expecting going off of episode 8's preview last week, it at the very least provided things that were positive. So I'll give it props for that. Because for one, Tabira, the leader of the spirit world, I kind of like how they introduce her, how she has all this fondness for Asuka and all the other magical girls when she meets them again after not seeing them for years. I like how she just greets Asuka with a bear hug and her oppai all over Asuka's face. That shit was hilarious, and I enjoy that kind of shit because it shows that Asuka's positive relationships, they don't just exist with humans, they also exist with people from the spirit world. So that was nice. And I like how they even used that opportunity to introduce some gags. Like first, she was like, oh, I have a suit, I'll upgrade it. And then I was expecting something epic. And then I like how this episode spurred my expectations by having like a swimsuit for the girls. And then Asuka just rips that shit up. And I was like, yo, where the hell did this come from? But in a good way, because I like it. It caught me off guard and gave me a laugh. And then when she actually introduced like an actual upgraded stuff for the crew, and then she's like, y'all can't use it yet, but someday it could implement your power. I like that. I like how Tabara, she's able to like act humorous when a situation calls for it, and then she can go straight to serious when need be. So I like that. I thought she made a positive impression in this episode. And I also love how in the span of this single episode we get to have some characterization, because she's actually brave, because she did want to straight out go in the battlefield alongside the magical girls, but then everyone's telling her no, because if she dies then everything's lost. But I like that scene. It shows you at the very least she ain't no coward, and she's willing to lay down and scrap, and I like that. And it only makes it the end of the episode much more stakes raised. Like it gives it much more gravitas when at the end of the episode they want to have Tabara escape, but then the portal towards the spirit world sealed off, and it can be, I mean, it's not sealed off, but it's kind of deactivated because the enemy uses a bomb that deactivates it. So they're gonna have to wait at least 2 days, and in that time they gotta protect her. And I kind of like that because the episode did a good job of giving us the personality of Tabata, so that if anything were to happen to her or she's in near danger, we'll actually give a shit about the individual that they're caring about. Because here's how it is in a lot of media. Whenever a character protects another character, kind of like an escort type situation, those situations usually don't work because they don't give us enough time to care about the individual that a character is protecting. But some of the best animes, they get around this by giving us a grasp of the person that's being protected so that we actually care about their well-being. An anime that did this pretty well was Guardian of the Spirit, where Balsa had to take care of the main male MC, and as time went on, they bonded with each other, and you actually cared about the character that she was taking care of. So I like how in this episode, they did a decent job of that. They made us care about Taba. At least for me, I care about that character after watching this episode because of her humorous personality. So that's why I thought this episode did well from a character and story standpoint. Not extremely well, but it did well. And I love how this episode made Asuka feel like a much more realistic individual. Because when she sees Mia and Tamura after all these years of not seeing them, I enjoyed the scene where Asuka's crying to like show off that how much she cares about the other Machiro girls. That scene was sweet and heartwarming, and I loved it. I thought it gave more layers to Asuka's character, that she has like cold sun in the battlefield, but when she isn't there, she's warm and loving, and I love that. It really makes me love her character more. So that was also another beautiful thing about this episode. And then I like how they used that situation a few minutes later to have a joke with Tamara where she hugs the doll because it's cute, and then she's thinking about how cute Asuka looked when she was crying. I was like, okay, that was funny. and that was sweet. And I kind of loved it because it made me think, oh man, couldn't he ask competition now for Asuka's feelings? But no, that's sweet though to see this sisterhood between the Metro girls. I loved it. I'd say really the only downside about the scene was Sachu pretty much explaining how Tamura loves cute things, and I'm just thinking, well, no shit, Sachu. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a hater of cute cat mascots. I usually like that kind of stuff, but when they like interrupt scenes with like Captain Obvious shit, that's when I get annoyed. So I feel that's a weakness of this show, where Sachu just interrupts something that shouldn't be interrupted. But fuck it. I'd say overall the Tamura scene is still good, even though it's weakened by Sachu explaining it with the info dump. And to kind of my credit, there was a scene where Sachu does explain something that actually needed explanation, like when the portal to the spirit world wasn't working because of some kind of faraway bomb used that deactivated it. That's something that was right for Sachu to be there in. So this show does demonstrate that I can use Sachu properly when they think about how to implement him. Or when he beat up that mascot a few episodes ago and Sachu beat the living shit out of it. Those are the moments that Sachu should be used in, not in situations that don't need an explanation. But those are just my thoughts on the Sachu situation. But he doesn't make the episode bad though. And then aside from that, I like how you also have Naha being attacked, and I love it how it also raised the emotional stakes, because now we've had enough time with Asuka's friends to actually worry about them. And I like how in this episode you even show Asuka just worrying about her friends too, and I like that, showing off that more of her human sides to her, showing off more layers. So that was also another cool thing about this episode, and that's why I thought it was a well done episode. I'd say really the only weaknesses was at times the episode felt slow, like when Naozomi and her friend were on the beach and they were taking the picture of Chitaso and the muscle-bound dude. I felt like that scene wasn't really necessary because I felt like other things could have been advanced, possibly. I would have liked to see Tabara more because I really liked the impression that this episode gave me of her. Or other things, just to make this episode felt like there was more to it. So there were instances where that kind of felt slow, but at the very least this episode did its job. It was a good build-up for next week, and I like it. And that's why I felt it did well from the character and story standpoints, despite a few weaknesses. I thought it did fine. Now, as for the animation, it was garbage. Let's just be real. There's no ands, if, and buts. Hopefully next week, it's better, because next week is going to be, assuming, a jam-packed, action-packed episode. But I'm not going to get my hopes up that they're going to animate it pretty well at this point. But, who knows? Maybe we can be surprised. But the art was, at the very least, fine too. And that's why, overall, I'm going to rate this episode a 6 out of 10. I still think it's a bit above average, with 5 being average, and with 6, it's a bit above average. And I thought it was good for the reasons I mentioned. Because of the Asuka characterization and the Tabata characterization. That's why I enjoyed this episode. And for the stakes it raised. And that's despite the animation staff weighing down this episode, and a lot of episodes in the show in general, despite the animation staff lowering the potential greatness of this show, the writing is strong enough to actually make this show still fun to watch. I don't know. I'll probably check out the manga when the show ends. I mean, shit. I'm assuming that's a better experience, but anyways, manga fans, I'm curious. Is the manga better than the anime? I mean, I'll probably check it out when the show ends, because the pre-orders for this show, I mean, they're not looking too good. And I don't even think the anime's boosted the manga, because I've been checking the manga charts, and I've seen stuff like the Quintessential triplets raise its sales, The Promised Neverland raise its sales, Kaguya-sama Love is War raise its sales dramatically with their animes. But I don't see any of the manga volumes for this show on those manga sales charts raised. So I'm just curious about that. But Yeah, overall, I still enjoyed the episode. So anyways, guys and gals, this is my thoughts on episode 9. Comment down your thoughts in the comment section below. Rate the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Subscribe for more. Alright, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.